What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another Tottenham update. Some interesting things to talk about. Well, the first thing on the list is something that I don't really want to talk about, but it has to be talked about, and it's about Davinson Sanchez yesterday, obviously coming under a lot of absolutely disgusting and vile abuse, which made the club make this statement. They say, "We are disgusted by the racist messages received by Davinson Sanchez today and are calling on social media platforms to take action. We stand with you, Davinson Sanchez, and all those continuing to suffer from online abuse." I mean, why is this still happening? It's an absolute joke, and it's not just obviously with Davinson, it's happened with players throughout the whole season, throughout the whole few years actually it's been happening. But why is it still happening? It just makes no sense.
It's just idiots, trolls, idiotic behaviour, vile behaviour, disgusting behaviour on social media because of anonymity. While people like to get these reactions, people want to get a rise out of high-profile figures and want to see news headlines written about something that they did, even though they don't take any responsibility or don't take any credit or don't have any consequences for any of their actions. And that's why it keeps happening. As long as people have anonymity, people will do horrible, vile things where they can get away with it, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. And social media companies need to do something about it to solve the problem, because at the moment it's really disgusting, and social media is really turning into a toxic, vile place. And I think the way things are going, people aren't going to want to be on social media anymore.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And do you think that like big accounts, like big clubs and very famous players and stuff like that should take a stand like Thierry Henry until they make people kind of authorize themselves on social media?
Look, it's each their own. Everyone makes their own decisions, but that's the only way social media accounts, big social media companies will probably start to take notice when big people start leaving their platform. And if that's what needs to be done, then it should be very strongly considered by a lot of these big institutions. That maybe they should force Twitter's hand or Instagram's hand in terms of how they deal with these situations, and that's one way to do it. And if you hurt their pocket, then they'll start listening.
Yeah, and we've spoken before on the morning after show this morning about how when it's a copyright issue, they're straight on it. They're right on the second, and they delete the post. They suspend accounts.
They suspend you
within seconds. And then when it talks about racial abuse or abuse in any sort of way, you know, they take days or even weeks to even respond to it. So I mean, like these like social media companies, Twitter and Instagram, they need to start reacting quicker and taking a long, hard look at how they deal with these kind of situations.
I completely agree, and it's been going on long enough. I think social media companies are now built up in such a way that it's like the way of life now is being on social media, and like it's a necessity now. You need to be on social media to stay relevant, and that's how much power it's caused. And before it used to be like a hobby, but now it's a business. Now it's something proper and needs to be taken seriously. And people sending messages on social media to people, it's like going up to someone in the street and saying it to them. That's what it's like, and it needs to be treated the same, I feel. And I think people need to be held accountable for things they say online, and the only way to do that is to take away anonymity. It's the only way. I can't see any other option.
Yeah.
Either that, or it's going to continue. It's never, as long as people have anonymity, they will do things they can get away with, and that's the reality.
Completely agree. So Davinson Sanchez and anyone else that has suffered online abuse or any kind of abuse, we stand with you, because it's an absolute joke. It's an absolute disgrace, and when it happens to, you know, in football, outside football, to our rivals, to our friends, no matter what, it's an absolutely vile act that needs to stop now. Not now, but it needs to stop years ago. But let's move on. Let's talk about some transfer news. Sky Sports over the last couple of days were reporting that Atletico Madrid are admirers of Harry Winks and are monitoring his situation at Tottenham. You want to get the car ready, or shall I?
Yeah, look, I'm sure if they can offer a good offer, we'll consider it. I'd be very surprised if Atletico are very interested in Harry Winks, but you know, maybe
he's a player that could be suited to the Spanish league, couldn't he?
Yeah, that's what everyone says, and maybe there is something they'll be interested in. And good luck to him if he gets that move. That'll be a very good move for him. Team are top of the La Liga at the moment, but I don't know. I don't know if that's one that's going to come to fruition for him. I'd be very surprised if they really come if they really actually go through with an offer like that.
Although, back when they signed Trippier was going through similar kind of things with our fan base at the time.
Exactly, and now people would love him back.
Yeah.
So that could easily be the situation in the future. Winks, you never know, but we'll have to wait and see. I think there's a bit of a bad feeling with the fan base at the moment, Winks, because of those comments he made in January and the fact that he's not playing well. I still think he's a Tottenham boy through and through, and I believe he wants to make it work, but he's not got the right attitude at the moment, and that's what needs to change. And unfortunately, that's what's holding him back.
All right, let's move on. This is from Christian Faulkner, Bayern publication. He says that Bayern have not made an attempt to sign Heung-min Son, and the recent rumours are just part of the poker between the player's agent and Tottenham. It's good news, I guess.
No, we'll have to wait and see whether we actually signs a deal. I think a lot depends on how well we've ended the season, and obviously he deserves a pay rise. I don't know what the hold up is, whether it's we want more money or whether Son is waiting because he wants to see how well we're doing. I don't know what the hold up is, but let's hope he gets it signed sooner rather than later, because if he doesn't sign, he'll have to be sold this summer. That's the reality. He'll have to be, because he only has 2 years left
if
going
he doesn't,
into the summer.
Yeah, if he doesn't sign and he is sold this summer, how much do you reckon we get for him?
That's to be in the ballpark between 70 and 80 million.
Yeah. And do you reckon, and still, if it's 70 to 80 million, there is still only a small pool of clubs that can afford him, aren't there? Especially in this day and age.
Yeah, and I'm not sure who would go for him. I'm sure clubs will be interested, but they'll probably want to drive the price down to like 50, 60, I would think.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Jose Mourinho, because Alistair Gold yesterday said after his press conference, some of Jose Mourinho's comments today, this was yesterday, have angered some amongst the Tottenham Hotspur squad. And this was relating to Toby Alderweireld reporting. Well, he said Toby Alderweireld was talking about Toby Alderweireld coming late to training back from international break and not having done his COVID test in time for the game. And then a separate report from Dan Kilpatrick said Toby Alderweireld reported to Tottenham Hotspur Way on Wednesday afternoon, despite Jose Mourinho insisting he didn't return until Thursday, with that being the reason why he wasn't selected yesterday. So what are you feeling about this kind of bad thoughts festering with Jose Mourinho and the squad within right now?
Yeah, as the weeks go by, the more and more reports come out, isn't it? We had that Athletic report about some players questioning Mourinho a few weeks ago. After a decent run, those were put to bed, and after another bad result, more rumours are coming out. But these rumours are more justified, I feel, after what he said about clearly boldly faced lying to everyone's face about Toby's whereabouts for the past few days and stuff like that. And I just don't understand why it's bizarre how he thinks it's acceptable, or how he thinks he can get away with it, or I don't know what, or if he's confused about, maybe he's talking about Aurier or something. But either way, it's a horrible, horrible look. I mean, I don't understand it whatsoever. Whatever way you slice it, it's a terrible look on Jose Mourinho, and it has an air of him losing the plot a bit when he's doing that kind of stuff. And when these things start happening, usually it's only one way you can think it's going, and it's not in a good way for him. So I think that is really bad, really bad.
When these things start to happen, it only ever ends one way, doesn't it? Never mind Jose Mourinho, but with any manager, it only ever ends one way. And that's the way I can see it going, unfortunately. And I think that's just the situation we're in at the moment. And when you've got a squad of players, you don't know to what extent it is, but when you've got a squad of players going against a manager, or a manager going against a squad of player, there's only one winner, isn't there?
Agreed. And it's usually the players. But look, we all know the players, a lot of these players need a lot of hard truths being spoken to them, and I've got no problems with Mourinho doing that and telling it how it is to these players, and if they don't like it, then it's their problem. That's fair. But at the same time, we do need a team out on the pitch that's going to try and fight for this manager. And if he alienates too many of them and creates too much bad feeling, then he's only going to be hurting himself. But look, the thing is, it did kind of happen first season under Poch. The similar stuff was happening, but he was given the summer to clear out the deadwood and have players fighting for him. Looks like Mourinho isn't going to get that same opportunity at the moment as things stand. But I think people make up their own judgments, because I think it was seen differently under Pochettino, this whole thing. I think under Pochettino it was seen as like a great rebuild, and these players aren't good. It's either Pochettino's or the highway, but under Mourinho it's like, he's toxic and we have to get rid of him. And it's interesting to see the narratives, and we've pointed this out before, but people would say Mourinho's had a better squad than Pochettino had when he first took over, and he shouldn't have alienated them as much as Pochettino had to do. I don't know. I think the narrative. I think there is a difference in narrative, and I think it was seen as positive under Poch, and it's not seen as positive now. But at the end of the day, the squad we have should be doing better than it is, and that's the reality. But for Poch, for example, when we finished 5th, that was where we should have been.
But also, it's not the same time as it was when Poch first came. When Poch first came, the transfer market was flourishing. This summer, we're going to find it increasingly hard to get as many players out as we need to get out, and as many players in as we need to get in. So it's a completely different situation as well.
It is. Yeah, you could also argue that. It doesn't change the fact of who the players are and what's happened. But yeah, it's true. It is a different market in terms of players coming in and out. So Mourinho has to treat it in a different way. And at the moment, look, I think the problem is Mourinho just has such high standards and high demands, and these players aren't up to it. But at the end of the day, he has to try and get these players on side and get them to get as much out of them, the most out of them as possible. And he's not able to do that. And whereas that's what Pochettino was very good at, Mourinho is being found wanting at the moment.
All right, well, I thought I'd finish off on something positive because we just need something positive to cling on to at the moment. And Harry Kane, after 2 goals yesterday, has catapulted himself into the top 3 goals and assisters in Europe's top 5 leagues. Number 3 is Lionel Messi with 31. Harry Kane on number 2 with 32, and Lewandowski clear in the front with 41. It just shows the elite levels of this man, doesn't it?
Yeah, man, he's having a special season. We know he's literally been one of the only elites. Him and Son have been one of the only elite performers for us this season. And it shows, it's also proven that Mourinho can take stars and turn them into elite stars. But what he can't do is what Pochettino did, which is turn mid-table players into stars. And that's where he's struggling at. But Harry Kane has been absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal this season. He's literally been head and shoulders above most players in the squad, or every player in the squad. Big shout for Player of the Year. I think he's well in contention, especially if he has a strong into the season as well. I think he's added so much to his game this season. He's been an all-round top player, top professional, and he's going to go from strength to strength, and he deserves a lot better than just battling for top 4. He needs to be in title races and challenging for Champions League, because that's what a player of his quality is worthy of.
Yep, that's exactly what he deserves. And if he can't fulfill that at Tottenham, I'll have no qualms with him going elsewhere in search of that. As much as it pains me to say it, it's the facts of the matter. It's the truth. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know if you have any thoughts regarding anything we spoke about today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.